The island of Cebu in the Philippines is almost completely covered with mountains, from the south all the way to the north. Of all the peaks to scale on the island, we've only visited a handful, just barely scratching the surface. We'd recently heard a lot of talk coming up around this mountain that's said to sit at the border of 3 municipalities at once: Danao, Tuburan, and the municipality that holds its jump-off point, Carmen. I introduce to you Mount Mago. Mayong buntag, guys. It's like 4:50 a.m. and it's time for adventure. Oh god, dude. I want to go back to bed. Apparently Mount Mago, from everything it says online, is in Carmen, but we read beforehand. I was trying to make sure I do things right because we had such a difficult time getting to Mount Capayas last time, so I did my research. And we're supposed to go to Barangay Santican, but the only Barangay Santican we can find is in Danao. But Danao and Carmen are right next to each other, and you're supposed to just take a guide from this barangay going to Mount Mago. Okay, so as we said a while ago, we're looking for Barangay Santican. That's where everyone says to go to get to Mount Mago. We finally found it. I don't know if we're in it or we're almost there, but we went the way Google Maps had us go toward going to Danasan Adventure Eco Park, which is actually a lost vlog. Ooh? We wonder. There's a story behind that, but now we're up here and we don't know where to go next. There's no people around. We're supposed to go to the barangay hall and ask, but this is way off where Google Maps said it was. It said it's only like 20 minutes off the highway. It's been like 40 or maybe an hour.
It's so beautiful. The ride here is very gorgeous.
It took us a long time to get to this point, but this is beautiful. Driving in this area of Cebu was like nothing we had driven before. There were no people at all and perfect rolling hills as far as the eye could see. Great foreshadowing for what the day had in store for us. Alright, we found the Santican Barangay Hall. You guys signing in right now. And then I guess we're off. We probably don't need these anymore, but... Headed out right now on the path toward Mount Mago. Everything I've heard is a pretty easy trek. Basically on top of the mountain already. I mean, it's not hard. The hike started off easy enough, feeling like most any mountain hike in the Philippines does. But before long, we could tell it was starting to look a bit different than what we were used to. Hike itself doesn't seem to be too difficult. Obviously you're going uphill, but other than that though, it's kind of long. Longer than I expected from what people say online. It's beautiful out here. This is ridiculously beautiful. Barely even feel like I'm still in the Philippines, to be honest. It really feels like the highlands of Scotland or something. Except walay castles. Oi! Kumusta? The journey to the peak isn't very hard. There's no climbing and the path is pretty obvious, but it's long. We felt like we had passed over 2 mountains already and still hadn't made it to Mount Mago. However, the journey is more important than the destination, and in this case, the journey was mind-bogglingly gorgeous. Dude, it just keeps going. My God, we get to the top of like a peak, and then you find another path, and our guide just keeps going. I have no idea if we're close or not, but this is a far walk. I'm breathing so hard right now. Everyone online who says, well, it's a very easy hike. You guys must be like master trekkers, because I'm out of it, dude.
We made it!
This was a really long hike up here, and honestly, I feel both of us, me and Isai both are like, we're so tired. It's really gorgeous. The view is awesome. And actually, it's probably the most beautiful hike to a peak that I think we've been on. The hike itself, there's some spots you go through that are just like out of this country. It just doesn't look like the Philippines. So the peak is beautiful, but obviously we ended up here too late for the Sea of Clouds, which is what I assumed would happen. But if you can make it here early enough, or maybe if you can stay the night,
Yeah.
and wake up in the morning and see the Sea of Clouds, I think this would definitely be worth it. If you're not gonna come for the Sea of Clouds, then you can come all the way here if you're a trekker and this is what you really like to do. But I think, honestly, for us, our favorite part of the trek was this part pretty decently early on, like within the first half of the trek, where it looks like almost like you're in Europe or something, somewhere like in the Scottish highlands. It feels totally different. So I think we're just gonna jump back to there right now. I'm not gonna film the whole way back, and we'll fly the drone around there and check that out, because that's our favorite spot. But if you can make it for the Sea of Clouds, I would definitely come all the way, because it would probably be really insane. But we didn't get to experience it. Yeah, and there's bees at us, so we want to get away before we get stung. Hey, little guy.
Hi. This is what you should call Batones of Cebu, because I've never been to Batones, but it looks like this in the picture and videos.
The peak is awesome, but this is the spot that I like the best, to be honest, of the whole adventure. The drone flight that you just saw, hopefully it turned out well. I don't think Wendy makes it through 2021. I'm sorry, Wendy, but can't active track anymore. Doesn't like to stay in the sky, isn't smooth. But on top of that, now it's disconnecting over and over. I had like 5 or 6 disconnects during that flight. It was almost all guesswork. So if that looked good, that's just experience and knowing, like, guessing. But I really couldn't even tell what I was looking at. All right, we saw a tiny little busai on the way here. I don't know if it's worth anything at all, but our guide is going to take us there, so let's check it out. Really blows my mind that it's only 3 days until Christmas right now. I've never been away from home for Christmas, so I've never seen a December that wasn't anything but snow, cold rain, and a lot of shivering. This is a very, very different experience than what I'm used to. Didn't expect to do this today, but busai hunting. Isa actually wore normal shoes because we didn't expect to go to any busai. She went around. Oy. I'm sinking. Not the biggest busai ever, obviously, but for something we didn't even know was here, it's pretty cool. We just saw it from the path and we're like, we can go there? It's nice. Not a lot of swimming room. It's not something I would recommend hunting down just for the fall, but if you're at Mount Mago anyway, on the way back, just ask them to take you on a little side trek to the busai. It's not bad. The peak of Mount Mago itself is stunning, but we were more taken aback by the long trek where you have to cross over 2 or 3 other mountains. In the end, Mount Mago absolutely surprised us with its Batones feels. On the way back, we took the road going by the safari, headed to Poblacion of Carmen. This is the road you should take when coming here. Don't go through Danao like we did. That's the worst way to do it. All in all, it was another gorgeous day and another incredible spot in North Cebu marked off the list. Hey guys, this is the part of the video where I read and reply to some of your comments that you left in the last video, which was the Estaca Bay Resort video, or the video where we revealed that we don't really want to go to resorts anymore for just day use. We're only doing 2 comments today because I feel like I have a lot to say to both of them. Vel's basket case said, risky to give a bad review. You never know what kind of characters run the place. Just say it's nice and then have an awkward 15-second pause while looking around. That's pretty funny. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by risky to give a bad review. You never know what kind of characters run the place, unless you mean you're like referring to the Plantation Bay situation. I'm not really that worried about giving a bad review. We're just being honest with our experiences. We record everything as well, so it's very easy to see that anything we say, like, we can back it up with video evidence. That being said, I did want to pick this comment out just because we had a lot of different people commenting things about we're giving a bad review of Estaca Bay and it doesn't look very nice, and I just want to be clear that we actually weren't trying to give a bad review of Estaca Bay. I think maybe in the way I edited it, it came across that way. But actually, we liked it. We thought it was alright. I mean, yeah, the water was a bit murky, but that could have been because it was raining recently. We actually thought it was better than some other beach resorts that we had been to, and I guess I would recommend it if you're in the area, if like you're a local and you just want a place to go. I just didn't recommend it for foreigners or people from other islands traveling through on just a short North Cebu trip. And I think it came off bad because we also happened to realize we don't really care about resorts while we were there. Yeah, it just kind of happened that way, but I wasn't actually trying to give it a bad review. Andy Wild 76 says, I have to agree with your sentiment about day trips to resorts not really being interesting, but only if you overdo it. The reason I watch your videos covering resorts is to give me some idea or inspiration for ones I may want to stay 1 or 2 nights in as part of a Cebu road trip. So while a resort might not be adventurous, seeing or hearing your honest review of them certainly helps with travel planning. Maybe just focus on ones that have overnight accommodation and give viewers a quick peek of the rooms if the management would allow you. Whatever the case, keep up the great work. Really refreshing content compared to a lot of the Pinoy baiting channels. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. As far as going to more resorts, I do realize that people will watch us so that they can see which places they might want to stay at. That is really rough because yeah, we don't want to just go to a million resorts anymore. It's not the adventure we're looking for. The middle ground that we're trying to meet is we're actually figuring out a way that our cats, who are really, being honest, the biggest reason that we're unable to stay in hotels right now, trying to figure out a way that they can either be watched or that they can have enough food and litter to be able to survive for a night or two without us. And we're really serious here in the new year 2021, pushing for doing more travel with hotels, because we want to go. You'll see soon we're going back to South Cebu again, while still also exploring the rest of North Cebu, and everything that's left is really far away. So not only do we not like traveling where it's just a day trip, we also can't realistically do it the same anymore because everything's like at least 3 hours away. So what we're trying to do is start actually staying at hotels, staying at resorts again, and that will be the middle ground, because we do like resorts when we stay there. And by staying there, we'll also be able to give it a better, more honest review, because we'll have actually used the hotel or resort overnight. So hopefully that's a good middle ground. But other than staying there during travels, we really want to avoid them moving forward. We're just almost always disappointed. And admittedly, we do go to a lot of the cheaper resorts. We would love to check out some of the more expensive resorts in Mactan and near the city, but that's something for the future. We're just trying to see the places that everyone says is beautiful and says is gorgeous and worth checking out in North Cebu, and a lot of them really weren't cutting it for us. So that's kind of where this came from. Thank you guys so much for your comments. Guys, don't forget to leave comments down below for a chance to be featured at the end of the next vlog, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep wondering.